Hey, we're back. We're back for some business builders mentoring. And I just wanted to keep it real this week. If you're having trouble turning up online, if there's stuff going on in your life and you're not just feeling it, today I want to problem solve that because it's very real. And as we've learned in past communications, consistency is key for your business. So let's have a research, let's have a think, let's have a brainstorm, let's have a chat at the back end. And if you're watching this as a recording, please let me know because I'm working out whether to keep this weekly or bump it back to once a month. You are dictating how this rolls. But first, let's recap on what is your why. This is what my why is. I assist people to raise their vibrational frequency. So tonight, that is about your business and about turning up online and speaking your truth, presenting your brand in a professional way with consistency, even if you're not feeling like it. I don't want you to change that. I want to help you problem solve it because whatever your why is, that needs to be spoken about. Okay, your why is very integral to your soul purpose. So let's dive in. Let's jump into this learning and quickly work out what's working for us and what we can implement and why we might be feeling this way. I'm just being real here. I'm keeping it honest. And so I'm going to really dive into what I've been processing myself. So this is what I truly believe. It's not that you lack motivation. You're actually overstimulated. Let that sink. I'm going to repeat this. It's not that you lack motivation. It is that you're overstimulated. We live in such a busy world, right? Everywhere we look, there's flashing lights, there's music blasting, there's propaganda coming in. Yeah, we're often double or triple screening these days. Like it's a real thing. And it takes a lot for our subconscious mind to process all of that. And I want to talk into some of the realities for that because what we're consuming is so much more than what we're creating. We're scrolling, we're watching, we're comparing, we're absorbing, and your nervous system is constantly on, but not moving forward. Yeah. So realize that your subconscious mind, whatever it sees, it thinks that's real. It's data going in, data, data, data. And if you're not allowing things to come in and go out again with that beautiful flow state, our reality shifts and changes, and this is what drains our energy field. So here's your truth bomb. This is it. It's an energy exchange, okay? Every post that you consume is attention. It's fairly obvious when I break it down like this, but a lot of these things are subliminal. They're happening through habits. They're happening through boredom even. They're happening through time wasting or procrastination, which is fear. And if you'd like to learn more about procrastination being fear, I'd love you to ask me to take a peek at a module in my Miracle Mindset membership. Every comparison equals leaked energy. Okay, that's your truth bomb for tonight. Let's chew on that and digest it. But here's your hidden cost. You don't feel tired because you've done too much. Yeah, I've had a few days off this week and I feel tireder than ever. And it's really because I've been consuming instead of creating. I have been processing too much, watching too many screens. I've held too many people's lives in my awareness. Yeah, instead of just living my life and being in the now, being in the moment. Now spells what back to front? One, victory. And I've measured myself against filtered realities. So even when I start working on the algorithm or my posts or intentionally following others that are doing sound healing like I'm doing, that brings up a whole lot of stuff for me because I see sound healers that are doing it bigger, better, bigger budgets, more equipment, all of this stuff, right? This is what makes us feel tired and drained instead of just staying in our own lane, doing what you're called to do and growing things organically. So I've called this tonight the identity distortion. It's this feeling of when you're lying around scrolling all day, you actually forget these things. You forget what you like, you forget what you think, and you forget what you want. Yeah, because you're too busy absorbing everyone else's stuff. Now, laugh as you may, I had a message in 2015 to do a fast. It was a 1 year fast of all social media, of all television, movies, and anything that was using that Wi-Fi signal. What happened at the end of that year's fast, though, was the creativity was off the Richter scale. In fact, I launched Deca Circle in 2016 just off the back of that. Do you think that that's a coincidence, or do you think that that is just a little bit of storytelling? Do you think that I'm embellishing this? What I'm trying to do is seed into your subconscious mind the real pros and cons of looking for creative genius elsewhere instead of going inward and looking for the creative genius within yourself. We have the nervous system piece within us, and your body doesn't know that difference between your life and what you're actually watching. Yeah, this is crazy when you think about it, because we're watching a whole lot more than the last generation was. Things are really shifting rapidly, and it can feel like we're doing research. We can put these things in pretty colored boxes with bows on top and call them things that they actually aren't. But sometimes we're procrastinating from our own soul purpose, from our own mission, and from really embellishing what's seated within us from the moment that we were born. And that's why you feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed doing often nothing. Like me this week. Yeah. So here's the shift. What if social media became a place where you expressed yourself, you created, and you led instead of unconsciously consuming? Now, shortly after that 2016, yeah, we pushed into the lockdown, and I made an agreement with Spirit that I would speak online every single morning at 8 a.m. I did this for more than a couple of years, I think, and I built a community. A lot of the community is still with me on Echo Circle. I connected, I did things my way, and I made the pact with myself to turn up online and speak my truth before I scrolled. As you are well aware, time ticks really quickly, and that can lead to doom scrolling and lead to never ever creating. We're consuming, we feel drained because we've given the energy out instead of giving the energy out in a creative way. So there are two types of ways to see working online. One energizes you and energizes others because you are working within your own creative genius without influence from external, right? It's coming from within. You're giving yourself permission to shine. Or there's this consume, 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 and you may not ever have the energy to create. That's where I want the shift to happen for you today. So I've really felt into this, and I've made this practical because the way that I do coaching, I like things to be practical for you. So I've got to try this for your practical reset. Before you scroll, ask yourself this: am I here to create or escape? And after you scroll, I want you to check: do I feel expanded or depleted? And we speak more into these things in our membership about how to listen to your body. Where are you feeling that depletion? Where are you feeling that expansion? What is your normal actually? Do you know how to do a body scan? And I'm going to finish up tonight's session with this about reclaiming your power and leave you with some food for thought and some things that you can put into practice. Your attention is currency, and where you place your currency determines your reality. And I'm not speaking here in a woo-woo way. This is quantum science. It is in a very real neurological way. Scrolling is the fastest way to forget who you are, and your life won't change by watching others live theirs. All right, so that's the end of this little presentation, and I'm really grateful that you're here. We have quite a few new people, and I'd like to give you a welcome. Drop me a hashtag if this is the first time that you've thought about things this way, And I want to finish up tonight with a couple of things that I just put together to help you get online, turn up, show up, even if you're like me this week or this month. Actually, if I'm honest with myself, it's been the last 6 months where I really don't feel like it. Yeah, because your feelings lie to you. If you're the brand, you need to turn up whether you feel like it or not. And I, I'll give you the analogy. If we're an employee, a lot of mornings, particularly Monday mornings, you don't feel like going to work, but your obligation is to turn up and do the work so that you get paid. How much more important do you think it is to turn up, do and do the creation if you are the face behind the brand? Well, that is your everything. You're the energy, you're the brand. And without you leading that example, who's going to find you? How are you going to co-create? How are you going to collaborate? How are you going to make sales? So I've got a few things that I've listed here, and you can come up with your own, and I'd love to hear from you on these particular things. Maybe you've created something that I haven't thought about. I'd love to hear from you on that, about building your brand when you're not feeling like it. Yeah, because these feelings feel really real at the time. So I want you to get on to your next live or your next video if you're not feeling feels, and just own that shit. Say, in short, I'm being honest here, I had zero energy today to post, and this is exactly why most people stay stuck. Watch for your community to resonate, because this is your spiritual algorithm. This is you going through the journey in life. You betcha that your people are feeling the same way, right? So we're not talking about fluffing this up or making it pretty. We're just talking about owning the shit, turning up, saying it as it is. I want you to maybe try a voice note or a simple drop on top of a picture or an old video and switch out. Just, you don't have to put your face on camera when you're feeling this way, but a great way to turn up with your face is to use an old video and put a new voiceover with a little hook on top. So it could be a little voiceover that's even merging these two tips that I'm giving you here, saying, I didn't feel like turning up today, so here I am with a little quote, or here I am with an offer, and just using your voice in your recording through your phone and plus that onto an old clip. You can reclip it, you can add in some pictures, you can add in some new graphics, but basically this is an easy way to recycle old things that you had success on before. So if you check the algorithms for visuals and videos that have worked for you before, there is absolutely nothing wrong with rehashing those things with a new voiceover or some new music combinations on top of that. Minimum effect and teaching. It's one sentence wisdom. I was having a chat with a client this morning. She's a regular coaching session for me. We meet monthly, and she's building her brand. Now, she gets into her head sometimes, and I'm sure she won't mind me speaking this out because none of you know who it is, but she gets into her head thinking that she has to be this expert educator, and in that expectation that only she puts on herself, she misses these little sentences of wisdom that are more inclined to be devoured by those consuming on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And so because she's not giving a lecture, she doesn't give them anything. So the challenge to you today is, don't be like her. Don't be like me when I get into my own head like that too. I want you to just give one sentence wisdom, things that you've learned on your journey, things that you've overcome, with a picture. Pop it up there. You're still nurturing your audience. You're giving them something to consume, something that's relevant for your particular topic and the things that you're passionate about, but you're turning up even though you don't feel like it. I've done this a lot recently, and if you actually go and have a look at my socials, you'll probably see all of these things that I'm mentioning to you, hence the reason I'm mentioning them to you. I'm doing these tricks because I don't have it in me to do my 1 hour lives much anymore. So this is another thing that I've been doing, just putting the camera up, sometimes on a different speed. That can be fun, or just putting it up for behind the scenes. Real life, no makeup, low vibe, messy desk. Who gives a shit, actually? I'm turning up And what I'm finding is that my audience love this because we're showing them the honest truth of what a business actually looks like most days behind the scenes. Yeah, we don't always turn up glam. We don't always turn up with our scripted scripts. We don't always turn up with amazing hair and makeup and the absolute best lighting. Although those things are ideal in the perfect world, but we're turning up nonetheless, and we're teaching those people that are watching us expand the business to do the same. My next one is a call out post. It's low energy, but it's really sharp and zippy. When you say you're tired, you actually are tired or you're avoiding something. I want you to let the post do the heavy lifting. So you don't have to say a lot, just express how you're feeling within the post and watch for your audience to be vibing on that because you're doing the same. I did a silly one like that with a singing bowl the other day. I donged the bowl. I had the red light, and I think I had my hook as stress relief. This is what I do when I'm not feeling, I can't remember what I actually wrote because it was in that moment of creativity, but I turned up and that one got a lot of traction on certain platforms and not on others. So don't forget to download the video that you make or the post that you make and upload it into your other spaces. Yeah, you can have one burst of creativity and use it over different platforms and just be real with it. I talked about recycling your gold. Now I'm going to mention micro story, and I did this morning in my stories, and I shared it from my Instagram to my Facebook. So in your stories, you're allowing your story to build slowly, and you may not have to feel into this for doing it every day, but it really helps with connection and when you're feeling tired or burnt out. So just focus on one thing. It can be one product, and you can show that product in your stories. It doesn't have to be lit beautifully. It doesn't have to have a filter. It's you turning up going, this is what I'm using. This is why I love it. This morning I did that about a dry shampoo, and I was owning the fact that I was feeling tired, that I couldn't be bothered to wash my hair. This is what I'm doing, that I'd prefer to put the energy into cooking some healthy food for lunch before I went to work. And this is just a little bit of my life in my stories, but I'm still talking into my business. I'm still keeping it real. I'm still showing a product. I'm still making it relatable, because who doesn't have those days? Or you can have your audience engage you where you're not actually dictating a lot. You can do things like polls or question posts. Give me a comment below. What are your thoughts? I'm indecisive. Which color should I choose? You can allow your audience to do the talking instead of you having to have all the answers. And this builds relationships, because who likes a bossy person that's there as the expert? There's a lot of them on social media, right? That always has the right thing for you to do. Sometimes for me, that feels like a dictatorship over and above a connection. So I'd love you to really feel into, why are these feelings happening to me? And are they allowing me space to allow my community to tell me what the next smart move is? And this is a great idea when you're just branding your business. You might be indecisive about which color should I use for my logo, or which logo do you like, or which font do you like? Your audience, remember, they are the ones that you are going to find your people that pay your wage. Yeah. So it's inversion to what's happening at the office if you're still on a payroll. You are engaging a community that's giving you their intellectual property, actually their likes. It's a little bit like doing market research and going out onto the street and saying, which cover should we use? And this is how magazines do that too, by the way. Here I've got an energy truth bomb. You don't need more time. You need to stop giving your energy to things that don't really grow you. And this takes discipline. I'm speaking to myself here because we're all in the same boat where we get distracted, or we get low energy, or we're not exercising enough, we're not eating healthily. And so before you know it, everything's unzipped and you're sitting there doom scrolling with the rest of them. All right, now, just to wrap up, I've got a couple of things that I thought might also help you that I've been doing a lot lately. If you are so low energy, like I have been recently, where you don't even have the capacity to make a video, it just feels overwhelming, you've got so much on your plate, I want you to not forget that you can share other people's videos on most platforms. You can clip them, you can trim them, you can download them onto your phone, you can make them yours by putting your own quotes on, and this can happen really, really quickly. If you need some coaching on how to do that, let me know and I can absolutely bring that one up in the next session. You can do what I've been doing lately, a photo montage of old events or old things that you've interacted with. It might be testimonials, it might be pictures of you making a sale even. It might be anything that you have in your camera roll and just popping some really funky music to that that's trending. So if you don't know how to look where the music's trending, please reach out to me and I can show you that as well. So batching your pics to music is really, really effective with a quick, short, snappy post. And you're still turning up, and I'd love you to turn up daily. Yeah. A lot of coaches will tell you that 2 or 3 times a week is enough. I beg to differ with this. I feel the algorithm needs to see you turn up at least 2 or 3 times a day. And that may seem overwhelming if you're making things from scratch, but don't forget that you can do things different ways. You can turn up in all your raw authenticity in your pajamas, in your stories. That's one. You can turn up with a visual post. It's a poster or a picture with a hook on it. That's 2. That doesn't take a lot of effort. And please make sure you turn up in some type of video capacity, because each of these mediums use different algorithms and they reach different people. You can put text on reels, you can make black screen or a soft blurry background with one punchy line. There's whole pages that are really successful just by doing little quotes like that. So have a look around at what other people are doing, not doom scrolling, but creatively researching. I want you to research, what are other people doing that are getting traction that I could implement into my page? And in that way, I'm thinking out of the box. I want you to also think about using screenshot wisdom. Use your notes app, messages that a client sent to you. I used to do this when I was working in the beauty salon. I would often screenshot quotes from clients or texts that they had, pop it up, layer it as a photograph on top of an image that I had in my photo bank when we were quiet in between clients. I would just take little still life pictures around the salon of the things that we were using, or the singing bowls or the water running, whatever it is. You can have a little bank in your camera that you can reuse. Today, I even reused some pictures that I had in Canva for an event. And all I did, because I was time poor, was put a filter over those same images and change the color. So if you think outside of the box, you can reuse content just like they do in magazine land, with a little bit of a sweep and a twist. And before you know it, you've got something to post that takes very little effort. Or how about this? People might be used to coming to your platform because you chat a lot like I do. Try working in reverse. How about doing something like a silent reel? No talking, just you pouring a cup of tea, or setting up the singing bowls like me, or just going for a little stroll outside, and your caption carries the message. And because you've turned up in a different way, it might add some shock value. You could do a mini montage. You can comment, reply on other people's posts. Remember to draw traction back to your page. I want you to just put in at least that 10-minute effort, turning up, whether you feel like it or not. And here's what my final one is. It's the throwback with reflection, because reflection is absolutely integral to expanding in your business growth as well as your personal growth, and that's what your followers are watching. There are so many people from my old life working in magazines that look at my socials that never engage, but I put one of these reflection ones up the other day, and somebody that I used to work with on a monthly basis wrote, "You're so inspiring," underneath. And a little unbeknownst to me, she's been watching all along. So an old picture of you in your old life, or you maybe you've lost weight, maybe you have been on this health journey, maybe you've got some muscles now. I don't know what it is, but these before and afters with reflection, or before and afters of your business chaos or your business sales now, these are really inspiring to people that are watching you from afar. And you can just, I don't know, get creative about a little comment, but I wrote this one down. I remember this version of me. She didn't know what was coming. For me, that always hits, yeah? And you'll see a bit of that happening on social media at the moment. Use these things to your own advantage and use them. If you're like me, feeling a little bit lethargic, I believe there's something in the air, or if you've got a lot going on, don't forget to turn up for yourself. Discipline is necessary for your health and well-being, but discipline is equally as necessary for turning up as the brand, as the face of the brand, whether you feel like it or not. Remember that you are the CEO of your own business.